Happy day. How are you? I hope that your day is going amazing. I'm Jenny DuFresne. I'm the founder and creator of Balance and Flow Show, a show that was designed to help us thrive in times of uncertainty. I know that each and every one of you around the world is probably really wondering how to get through from day to day to day. And this show was really my answer to that. A few months ago, I looked around and I wondered, what would I, as a seasoned leader and a business owner, several businesses, what would be the things that I would really need and enjoy to navigate where we are today? And my answer was a Balance and Flow Show. So I hope that you find this episode, which is episode 12, I hope you find it inspiring, invigorating, challenging, but most of all, I hope that you find something in it that you will apply to your life. It just takes one thing. And that's the most important thing that I've learned along the way in my life, is that sometimes I try to do 50 things because we're in a society that loves a performance and, doing great things all the time and, being able to knock everything out of the park all the time. And I'm that person, most definitely. But what I've realized is that sometimes when I try to do too many things, nothing gets done or nothing gets done well. So out of this show today, I hope that you'll take one thing and apply that one thing to your life. It can be a strategy, an action step, a mindset, but just take one thing and apply it. So that your life can really become much more manageable, particularly in this time of which everything is so uncertain. So today's show is going to be a little bit different. I live here in Texas, and I recently was taking a walk with my dog and, just sort of listening to all the sounds. I love to be outside. It's one of the great restorers. And so we're walking in our particular neighborhood. There's a couple of things happening. There's a lot of, the leaves are starting to shed, and fruit or nuts are starting to shed from trees as well. And so I'm walking along, and there's a lot of pecans in our neighborhood, and there's pecans on the ground, and I picked some up and cracked them open and nibbled at them. And just walking along, then I came across this. And so hopefully you can see this, or maybe you recognize it when it looks like this. These are the nuts or the seeds or the fruit from an oak tree. And so these are from two different oak trees, but nonetheless, these are from oak trees. And so I was walking along, and I've been actually walking for a few days, but this one particular day, I noticed. And I was looking up and admiring this extraordinary tree that was shedding these fruits or these seeds. And it just got me to thinking a lot about leadership and about personhood. And so today's show, I want to talk about potential. And unfortunately, I don't know much about physics, but I know that there's a concept in physics about potential and energy, and how potential energy turns into kinetic energy, which is action. At least that's my understanding. But we all have potential. And so this idea got me thinking. So I want to talk about this today, about potential. So inside of this seed or nut, same as this seed or nut, inside this little container is nothing but potential, right? It's all potential. And the potential in this is quite literally the same potential that is in each one of us. Each of us comes into the world in this body, which is filled with potential, right? And each of our physical vessels house all this potential. And that potential is in our ideas, it's in our creativity, it's in our ability to connect with other people, it's in our ability to communicate, it's in our ability to feel, it's in our ability to be empathic if we're empaths, it's in our ability to connect with a higher source. It's all packed inside of this body, this vessel. It's potential, right? We're all potential. So as I was walking and I was picking up these little pieces of potential, I started thinking about, like, how does this potential go from this to something extraordinary? And how do we go from a potential that's sometimes just housed in our body or housed in our minds or housed in our hearts to really beginning and being able to turn that potential, that possibility, into magnificent things, into actions, actually. And so what's the thing that activates? What activates this to go from this idea to actually becoming an extraordinary tree? All that tree, even than this little oak or acorn, this little acorn and this bigger acorn, they still produce the exact same thing. And so it got me to thinking, and I want to share a couple of things. So how does an acorn go from just laying on the ground? It could just lay on the ground and be dormant, right? It just could this could be the ground, put my hands on the ground, and the acorn drops from the tree and it could just sit dormant. So some of us, even me, we have gifts, we have potential that's sitting dormant. It's just locked away, sitting on the surface somewhere, unrealized. These two acorns could sit like this and nothing could ever come out of them. And I would say the same of us. Especially now in a time in which everything is upended. Everything we know, if we are a business owner, I own a couple of businesses. That's all been upended. So it's had me to have to sit, and instead of being dormant, it's forced me to start to really tap into my potential. The potential of the ideas that I have, the potential of the connections I can make, the potential of platforms, electronic platforms. Zoom. Who knew Zoom as much as we know Zoom before the pandemic? So I started thinking about how our potential is often dormant. It's just sitting, just like these two seeds. If nothing happens, if the conditions are not created, they'll just sit like this. Nothing will come out of them. There will be no great oak tree that comes out of them, right? So I started thinking about this and I thought, I wonder how many of us are sitting with great ideas for maybe a new business, maybe great ideas on how to pivot our business, maybe great ideas on how to transform our families, but that they're just sitting dormant. Nothing's happening with them. Maybe we've allowed them to sit dormant because of ideas that we can't take that idea and make it into something, right? We can't take that idea, which is this seed, and our ideas are seeds. And our ideas, when they are given and created certain conditions, they begin to sprout and grow. Imagine, take a step back right now, wherever you are, take a look around you. What do you see? Maybe you see your laptop, or maybe you see a phone, or maybe you see a container filled with food. Maybe you see a pen, or maybe you see some keys, and the keys, of course, have vehicles, right? But the reason I'm suggesting for you to look around is understand that everything you set your eyes on was at one point potential. It was a seed at one point. It was a seed, an idea. And it had to go from being that seed or an idea to becoming everything you see around you. And everything you see around you was created right here in somebody's imagination. The laptop you may be watching me on was created in somebody's imagination. The car that you may be driving and listening to me, that vehicle was created from someone's imagination. If you fly in an airplane, that was created in the imagination. So those seeds, those ideas, instead of being dormant, that potential was released. So think about this. And right now, if you have an idea that is popping into your head, jot it down on a piece of paper. And if you think that this episode, which talks about our potential, needs to be shared with someone who is maybe struggling and wondering, what can I do? Or afraid to allow that seed of an idea to burst forth into potential and to create something that you can see, that you can touch, that you can feel. If you know somebody like that right now, please reach down and share this video with them. Please share. And if you're not yet subscribed to this channel, to my YouTube channel, please subscribe, because I really want to make sure that people have the benefit. Right now is a time when all of us need some inspiration. We need some guides. We need some North Stars. We need things to follow to be able to take our potential and allow it to manifest. And so there's a couple of things that are important for your potential to go from being a seed into being a mighty oak tree. And I want you to think about an oak tree. Oak trees come out of these little teeny seeds, right? But oak trees, we have oak trees here in my area that are over 200 years old. Imagine a tree that came from a little seed that is now well over 200 years old. Imagine if one of your ideas could change the course of someone's life for 7 generations. Imagine if one of your inventions or one of your businesses or the way that you decide and choose to lead could create a building or a bridge or a concept that can radically change the lives of people. They can go from here to going this way, and that new direction could bring peace to a village, could bring peace to a town or a country. Imagine this. Imagine that there may be a book inside of you of everything that you've experienced that could transform people's lives. Imagine that potential is inside of you. So there's a couple of conditions that I believe that every seed needs in order to manifest into its oak tree, its mighty oak tree. So the first thing is that every seed, if it stays on top of the ground, it doesn't have the opportunity, it doesn't have the right conditions, the right things to be able to nurture. So the first thing is, and your seeds of ideas, of concepts, you have to take some time to reflect on them. You have to take time to be introspective, because that's the first condition necessary for new things to start to be able to attract what is necessary for them to burst forth. So the first thing that is important for your ideas and creativity, your potential to explode, is to reflect on it, to think about it, not overthink, but to really ask it questions. Ask some powerful questions. Why was I given this idea? How will this idea change the lives of other people around me? So you have to the first thing is spend some time reflecting, spend some time being introspective. That's the first thing to do. And that would, in essence, be this idea that this seed has to become buried, it has to be cloaked in a darkness. And that darkness is really positive, because inside of that, and reflection is a time when we go inside of ourselves. We tend to our own thoughts, right? So the seed goes into the soil. And let's take that as a kind of a reflective time. The second idea is that you need fertile soil to nurture your ideas. And so the way I see that is you have to have some other ideas. Maybe you watch a show like mine, Balance and Flow Show. Maybe there's a favorite podcast that you like to watch. Maybe there's a favorite book that you always go to. Maybe there's a famous or favorite quote. Maybe there's just someone who you listen to. It could be music. But you need the second condition to be able to have your potential burst forth. The second condition is you have to have something that nurtures it, something that inspires it, something that draws to it more ideas that help round it out a bit. So that's the second thing. The third is nurturing that, but next you have to nourish it, right? You have to be able to journal. You have to be physically active. Go out in nature. Give yourself some time to get balanced. You got to nurture your own, you have to nourish your own spirit, because it's your spirit. It's your ability to tap into divine intelligence. It's your ability to tap into a divine conversation that will allow that idea to start to be nourished and to grow and to strengthen and to pull more resources towards it. So that's kind of like the seed in the earth, and it's getting watered. That's the nourishment. And then it starts to pull the minerals and the resources from the soil. And that's the thing that you need to do in this third idea, is to really start to nourish the inspiration for your idea. Journal about it. Imagine, visualize your idea coming and bearing fruit. Visualize your idea touching people's lives. Visualize that. That means it's bigger and greater than just you, right? And that also means that you start to step outside of any fear or concern that you may have. And the fourth thing to do is to embrace whatever that idea is, whatever that potential is. Embrace it with enthusiasm, with joy, with desire, be so doggone excited about how your idea can change wherever you are, or how it can change your family, it could change your life, it could change somebody else's life. But really get into it, being excited. That excitement, that desire to manifest it is actually like super shot fertilizer. Like, it will absolutely supercharge that potential that you are carrying. So that's the fourth thing, is to be joyful and excited and feel the energy of desire and manifestation. Feel it as you are working with this idea, as you journal it, maybe you draw it, maybe you are water paint, whatever you're doing, but really supercharge it. And then the fifth thing, as it is supercharged, it starts to break through the earth. It starts to break through that space of dormancy, right? That's what this seed does, is as it supercharges and it knows that its potential has been nourished and energized, it begins to break through the earth, and it comes into the first sprout. The first sprout from this seed breaks through the earth and is instantly touched, like zapped, by sunshine and sunlight. And for me, that is being able to create around you a community of people who supercharge and gives sunlight, gives sunshine, which means that's more nurturing, that's more excitement and enthusiasm, that community of people, and it could be 2 or 3 people that really believe and help you begin to pull that potential and make it manifest into that gorgeous oak tree or whatever your brand new car, like, and what I mean by a brand new car is a new car design, a new invention. So you need to have community around you to accelerate the growth of your idea. Oak trees have the sunlight. Oak trees have the rainwater, and oak trees are still pulling from the earth all the nutrients and minerals that it needs to continue to grow and build and get bigger and bigger and bigger. And so for your potential, that seed that you have inside of you, for it to manifest and to grow, it's critical that you have a community of people who help inspire and nurture and cheer you forward. So I hope that you found this exciting and inspirational, really, to the ideas that you may have, that maybe you've been seeing changes in your business, or maybe changes in your leadership, or changes in your company, and you've been wondering, what can you do differently? So I hope that you can take these 5 things. First is, take time to reflect and be introspective around the ideas that you have. Second, nurture your ideas with other resources. Maybe you find a great book, a quote, music, something that gives it more, fills it in and gives it some strength. Third, you want to nourish it with inspiration. So you want to journal, you want to be out in nature, you want to take deep breaths to kind of cleanse and balance yourself. Fourth, you want to be excited and enthusiastic. No matter how huge your idea is, you have to be excited and enthusiastic in order for that idea to start to push, to come through the surface. And then finally, surround yourselves with people who are your champions, your cheerleaders, and people who really inspire and are inspired by your ideas. So my name is Jenny DuFresne. I'm the founder and creator of Balance and Flow Show. I hope you found just one thing today that you can take and apply to your life. Please drop comments below, like this video, share it with one friend. Just one friend. Share it with one friend and ask that friend to subscribe to this channel. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please go down below, subscribe to this channel, so the next time we have some serious, joyful, inspirational ideas, which will be every Wednesday, you'll be able to get that directly. You'll know up front as it's coming through. So have an extraordinary day. And remember that out of this seed and this seed comes gigantic, amazing oak trees. And oak trees are life sustainers. They are shade givers. They are food bringers. They are oxygen creators. They are lumber creators. There's so much. They give shelter. So that's the same with your seed of an idea. It's filled with potential. You're filled with potential. Let it loose, let it spread, and create a better world for all of us. Thank you so much for watching. Share with a friend. Have a great day.